California in the 1960s was a place of sunshine, freedom, and possibility. People were optimistic. The world felt open and full of promise. But underneath that golden surface, something dark was stirring. A killer was moving through the streets of Northern California, watching, waiting, choosing his victims carefully. And when he finally struck, he would terrorize an entire nation for decades. His name was never discovered. He called himself the Zodiac. 7 months later, on July 4th, 1969, the Zodiac struck again. This time, at a place called Blue Rock Springs Park in Vallejo, California. A young couple named Darlene Farron and Mike Mageau were attacked in their car. Darlene was killed, but Mike survived, barely. He was able to give investigators a description of the attacker. A heavy-set white male with light brown hair. It was the closest investigators would ever get to identifying the Zodiac. But it still was not enough. December 20th, 1968. A young couple named David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen were parked in a quiet, secluded area in Benicia, California. They were on their first date. They were 16 and 17 years old. They had their whole lives ahead of them. Someone walked up to their car that night and shot them both. David was killed instantly. Betty Lou ran. She was shot 5 times in the back before she made it 30 feet from the car. She was 17 years old. The killer vanished into the night without a trace. Then the letters started arriving. 3 of them, sent simultaneously to 3 different newspapers in the San Francisco Bay Area. The Zodiac claimed responsibility for the murders in chilling detail. Details only the killer could have known. He demanded the newspapers print his letters on their front pages. If they refused, he threatened to go on a killing spree. The letters were signed with a circle and a cross, the symbol of the Zodiac. And inside each letter was a piece of a coded cipher, a message the killer claimed revealed his identity. The race to decode it was on. The newspapers printed the letters. The story exploded across the country. Every major publication in America was covering the Zodiac. People were terrified. Parents kept their children inside. Couples stopped going to secluded areas at night. The Zodiac had done something no killer had done before. He had turned himself into a celebrity, and he loved every moment of it. His letters became more taunting, more confident, more chilling. He was playing a game with the entire country, and he was winning. Law enforcement from multiple agencies across California joined forces to hunt the Zodiac. Thousands of tips poured in. Hundreds of suspects were investigated. Detectives worked around the clock, following every lead. But the Zodiac was always one step ahead. He left almost no physical evidence. He was careful, methodical, intelligent. And every time investigators thought they were getting close, the trail went cold again. Zodiac sent to newspapers. The case was unlike anything American law enforcement had ever encountered. Teachers named Donald and Betty Harden cracked it within days. The decoded message was deeply disturbing. The Zodiac wrote that he killed because it was thrilling, that his victims would become his slaves in the afterlife. But the cipher did not reveal his name as he had promised. He sent 3 more ciphers over the years. One was not solved for over 50 years. Another remains unsolved to this day.
Over the decades, investigators have focused on several prime suspects. Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester from Vallejo, who matched the physical description and had suspicious connections to the case. Lawrence Kane, a man who moved to the Bay Area just before the killings began, and several others whose lives intersected with the victims in strange ways. But no suspect was ever charged. No DNA match was ever confirmed. No confession was ever proven. The Zodiac's true identity remains one of the greatest mysteries in criminal history. On October 22nd, 1969, a man called into a television talk show in San Francisco. He claimed to be the Zodiac. The call was traced to a payphone. By the time officers arrived, the caller was gone. In total, the Zodiac is believed to have sent over 37 letters to police and newspapers before going silent in the mid-1970s. His last confirmed letter arrived in 1974. After that, nothing. He simply disappeared. Whether he died, was imprisoned for another crime, or is still alive somewhere, nobody knows. The Zodiac Killer is officially linked to 5 murders, but he claimed to have killed 37 people. Some investigators believe the true number is even higher. The case remains open to this day. Detectives have never stopped working it. New technology has brought new hope. DNA evidence has been ciphers have been re-examined, but still no definitive answer has emerged. Somewhere out there, the truth exists, hidden in old letters, faded memories, and unsolved ciphers. The Zodiac took his secret to the grave, or perhaps he is still keeping it. The Zodiac Killer was never caught, never identified, never brought to justice. 5 confirmed victims, possibly dozens more. A nation terrorized, and a mystery that has never been solved. If this story chilled you to the bone, make sure you subscribe, because we cover the darkest and most forgotten stories in history every single week. The truth is out there, and this channel is going to find it.